Square Enix appears to be continuing down the path of wokeness. A new report claims that their upcoming Dragon Quest III 2D HD remake will no longer have options for characters to choose between a male or female character. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Also, hit that like button. Let's send this video into the YouTube algorithm so more people can watch. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. I guess I got the title wrong. It's Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake, not 2D HD. Got that a little bit confused. But anyways, this report comes to us from Ryokucha 2089. And I used basically Google's machine translation to translate his report because he's obviously reporting in Japanese. And he says that the game has, quote, no distinction between male and female heroes. Furthermore, he notes that the characters are labeled A and B, with the A version appearing like a male hero, while the B version is a female hero. Ryokucha even notes that the A version is voiced by male actor Hiyama Nobuyuki, while the B version is voiced by female actress Minaguchi Yuko. On top of the main character having their sex removed from the character select options, jobs will also no longer be distinguished by gender in name. So big changes coming to Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake from Square Enix. That is the gist of the report. It's likely this has to do with Square Enix's ethics department. It was revealed that the company had an ethics department back in 2019 when there were questions about Tifa's chest size. The game's director, Tetsuya Nomura, revealed the department, telling Weekly Famitsu, "We wanted Tifa to have abs, so she now has more of an athletic body type. The ethics department at Square Enix also said we had to tighten her chest so it doesn't look unnatural during all the intense fighting. Because of that, we added black thigh highs and tank top." We would then get a Square Enix representative explaining the purpose of the ethics department to Polygon. Following Nomura's comments, the representative said this: "In the Square Enix Japanese studios, the ethics department is actually a group within the company that evaluates game content to make sure it is aligned with the anticipated age ratings standards across the globe," and then lists them all: ESRB, CRO, PEGI, etc. In this case, we want a new generation of gamers to experience Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we are working very closely with the company's internal experts to make sure all of the game's content is appropriate. We then got an interview with Square Enix employee Mary Tanabe. It's on their Square Enix's website, like their job website. And she provided more details on the ethics department. This was, I think, in 2022. And I used DeepL to translate this. This is what she said: "After working as a game designer in the development of online games, I am now a member of the Quality Control Department's ethics team, where I check all games developed by our company for expressions from an ethical perspective. Specifically, I check all game expressions, including scenarios, illustrations, designs, and effects to ensure that they do not contain expressions that are discriminatory, prejudicial, or offensive, and that they are in compliance with ratings." So there's been plenty of rumors that the reason why female characters are being uglified in the West and is because they don't want to offend people who claim to be transgender. And so they're making characters that, quote unquote, transgender people can look like. They're making these male to female, these people that think that they can become women, these men that think they can become women, can see themselves in the game. Sick stuff. It's sick stuff. So that could be a reason why these options to choose between male and female have been removed, reportedly, from Dragon Quest III. Tanabe goes on and says this: "In addition to the large number of games we are involved with, the length of time we are involved with each game is also a unique feature of our work. We're involved in the game from the planning stage and continuously check the game many times as the development progresses, which gives us a great sense of accomplishment when the game is successfully launched." She then shared this: "The ethics team's job is to make corrections to what the developers have seriously created. Therefore, you are expected to take responsibility for your decisions. The difficulty in checking expressions in entertainment is that it is not enough to serve only to make a..." I'm not sure what this is supposed to be here. This is maybe a loss in translation here. I'm thinking maybe like bad or good is maybe what she's trying to say. So is not enough to serve only to make a bad or good decision. For example, if a certain expression is not acceptable, you need to be able to come up with an alternative expression that would be acceptable. What I try to keep in mind in this job is that my work is not memorable to the user in a positive sense. For example, if there's a typo in the scenario of an emotional scene in the game, or if there is an expression that makes the user feel uncomfortable, it will spoil the experience of the game. The fact that my work went unnoticed by users after the game's release also means that I did my job correctly. Although I work behind the scenes, when a game I was involved in is released and is highly acclaimed, I feel as if my work is being praised, which makes me happy. So that's what she had to say there. Obviously, they are trying to avoid offending people, and that they are ensuring that their scenarios, illustrations, designs, and effects do not contain expressions that are discriminatory, prejudicial, or offensive, and that they are in compliance with ratings. So we've seen this kind of trend of removing the option to choose between male or female. They're doing this in Pokemon, despite Pokemon literally having male and female Pokemon in the game. And it's all part of like how you breed the Pokemon and things like that. It's sick. It's disgusting. It's clearly part of this evil ideology of transgender ideology, which, as Pope Francis notes in Amoris Laetitia, aims to deny, quote, the difference and reciprocity in nature of a man and a woman, and envisages a society without sexual differences, thereby eliminating the anthropological basis of the family. This ideology leads to educational programs and legislative enactments that promote a personal identity and emotional intimacy radically separated from the biological difference between male and female. Consequently, human identity becomes the choice of the individual, one which can also change over time, or at least that's what they try and make you think. It is a source of concern that some ideologies of this sort, which seek to respond to what are at times understandable aspirations, manage to assert themselves as absolute and unquestionable, even dictating how children should be raised. It needs to be emphasized that biological sex and the socio-cultural role of sex can be distinguished but not separated. So, evil ideology clearly trying to dissolve the differences between males and females. And I think that's exactly what they're doing here by not giving that option. And I think this shows that Square Enix is definitely embracing woke ideology. Interestingly enough, we've seen them kind of embrace this woke ideology. Obviously, they did the whole Forspoken game. They were heavily involved with Crystal Dynamics' Marvel's The Avengers game, which was pushing Kamala Khan as like the main hero, had all kinds of ridiculous wokeness in that game. And investors are questioning this, though, now. One, we had this report here just a couple days ago, June 20th, from Mixzuzu over here on X, noted that a Square Enix investor questioned the company's business relationship with activist companies like Sweet Baby Inc. That's stated goal is to push this woke ideology into video games in order to reshape the industry and, in my opinion, reshape society into their woke vision. This is what the shareholder asked. I'm personally happy about the shift from quantity to quality. So Square Enix has announced that they're changing their whole kind of shift on how they make games and their whole like kind of outlook on video games as a company, shifting from quantity to quality. So the investors noting that. I hope good titles will come out in the future. I'm concerned about the Canadian consulting company Sweet Baby. Square Enix is listed as a client, but is there actually a transaction there? What kind of transaction is it? Will they continue to do so in the future? And Square Enix president Takashi Kiryu responded saying, I would like to refrain from making specific comments about individual clients. As we shift from quantity to quality, providing content that is enjoyable and safe for our customers is also part of what makes a product fun. We'll do our best as creators. So obviously, complete and utter non-answer. But it is good news that we are seeing investors actually question these companies getting in bed with these activist consultancies like Sweet Baby that are ruining the video game industry, ruining their companies. Just look at the bloodbath that they've created. Thousands upon thousands of people laid off, lost their jobs. Numerous companies like Luminous Productions, which worked on Forspoken, shut down by Square Enix, absorbed back into the company. Volition, shut down by Embracer Group after its Saints Row debacle, complete and utter failure. We're seeing Xbox laying off more people, Microsoft laying off more people. They shut down the development company behind Hi-Fi Rush, Tango, I think it's Tango Gameworks or Tango Studios or something like that. Bethesda has seen cuts. So Embracer Group literally is parceling itself off, turning itself into 3 different separate entities after its recent issues, laying off numerous people there. And this is a result of them embracing this woke ideology, injecting it into the video games, and people saying, no, not interested in it. I think the biggest example is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, $200 million impairment charge. Warner Brothers Discovery took on that game. Big write-off because the game was such an absolute and utter failure. We're going to see more of this. I think this year we're going to see Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft face the Piper. I think we're going to see BioWare and EA face the Piper with Dragon Age as well. And Square Enix is going to continue to face the Piper. If they continue to embrace this evil, woke ideology that gamers have no interest in. They do not want this in their games. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. What do you make of them putting this into Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake, which comes out later this year in November? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.